Developers working within continuous integration pipelines are facing mounting pressure as speed requirements routinely push security checks to the sidelines. Recent findings from cybersecurity firm Qualys bring this tension into sharp focus. Their analysis of 34,000 public container images found that 7.3% contained malicious content, a figure that signals a serious and systemic problem across modern software supply chains. This video is sponsored by Stonefly. More on that at the end of the video. The shift left movement was designed to bring security earlier into the development lifecycle, but in practice, it has added pressure on developers who are already stretched thin. When release velocity becomes the dominant metric, security reviews are often the first thing cut. This trade-off is not hypothetical. It is showing up directly in the container images that teams are pulling into their pipelines and production environments. CI pipelines have become a critical attack surface. Because these environments automate the building, testing, and deployment of software, any malicious element introduced early in the chain can propagate widely before it is ever detected. The speed that makes CI pipelines valuable is the same characteristic that makes them dangerous when security enforcement is inconsistent or absent. Qualys researchers examined 34,000 publicly available container images and found that 7.3% were malicious. Container images are foundational to modern application deployment. They package code, dependencies, and configurations into portable units that teams rely on for consistency across environments. Their widespread adoption makes them an attractive target for threat actors looking to embed malicious payloads at a point in the supply chain where trust is often assumed rather than verified. The findings reinforce a broader concern. Public registries are not inherently safe, and pulling images without validation introduces real risk. Teams that treat public container images as trusted sources without scanning them are operating on an assumption that the data does not support. Qualys argues that security cannot be left to individual developers to enforce manually. It must be built into the infrastructure layer as a default. When security is opt-in or dependent on a developer remembering to run a check, it will inevitably be skipped under deadline pressure. Structural enforcement removes that variable. Practically, this means organizations should be moving toward automated security scanning integrated directly into CI pipeline stages, so no build can proceed without passing defined checks. Image validation mechanisms that verify container integrity and provenance before deployment is permitted. Policy-based controls at the registry and orchestration level that reject non-compliant images regardless of where they originated. Developer training and tooling that makes secure behavior the path of least resistance rather than an additional burden. Embedding security at the infrastructure level addresses the root cause rather than depending on individual behavior. It ensures that even when teams are under time pressure, the baseline protections remain in place. This approach also creates an auditable record of what was scanned, validated, and approved, which matters both for incident response and regulatory compliance. The goal is not to slow development down, but to make security a structural guarantee rather than a best effort practice. As container-based deployments continue to scale across organizations of every size, the risk of a single malicious image reaching production grows alongside them. The Qualys research makes clear that without enforced controls, that risk is already materializing at a rate the industry should not be comfortable accepting. Let's take a moment to talk about our sponsor. Get a 300 terabyte Veeam, Rubrik, Commvault Immutable, and air-gapped backup and DR appliance for $19,995. Contact sales at stonefly.com for details. Subscribe for more cybersecurity news. Thank you for watching.